Welcome back to the TKO show. It's Kara Rowe. Thanks, guys, so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Anytime you can message me on Facebook as well, trying during the breaks to answer you back quickly. I know you can text 101290 or email the TKO show at bellmedia.ca. It is our Mindset Success series. We continue this every Wednesday at this time, and I'm excited to talk to Jimmy Graham once again, Mindset Success Coach. And we kind of add every single week, so it's great to get a hold of the podcast as well. Go back if you miss a week and refresh. And sometimes you may need to listen to it, every week. If something really struck you or hit you, it's always great to go back. Think about the books you've read over and over. Think about the programs you've seen over and over. Think about affirmations you tell yourself over and over. So it's one of those things that if you have an opportunity to go back and listen to the podcast, it's great as well. You can find Jimmy on his website at mindpowerprograms.com. And we're going to talk this week. This is such an important topic, mind-body healing. I think this is essential for people to know about. I remember a couple of times watching different programs, whether you watch stuff about The Secret, or people dealing with cancer, and so much involved the mindset. It's so much involved how we thought, how we're perceiving our illness, and what are we telling ourselves every single day. And I noticed that right now, with young kids and never ever sleeping. I read the first year of a mom's life or dad's life, you lose 44 days of sleep. So, the first thing when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Oh my God, it's such a long day. And I kept telling myself, I'm like, stop. It's going to feel...
Because you're reinforcing that exact same experience, right?
Yeah, and it's okay if you have those thoughts. It's how you respond to them. Do you keep replaying them, or do you stop yourself and come up with a new statement, in order to get through the day? So I love the idea of mind-body healing. Now, is this something that, Jimmy, for you and working with clients, this is requested often?
It is and it isn't. It's funny that with hypnosis and just the power of the mind in general, that usually everybody comes to me as the last resort for whatever reason, and especially when it comes to pain management. I just heard a study the other day that opioid overdoses and deaths are the leading cause of death now in the United States.
Unreal, and it's huge.
And that's
here
all
too.
due to pain. People trying to manage pain with drugs. And they'll try that before they'll go, hey, listen, you know what? I think maybe I should phone you first. And I prefer that they would.
Yeah, and because we think of all the side effects too, right? When you're putting something foreign into your body, all the side effects you have to deal with on top of that is really a struggle. Yeah, the opioid crisis is surreal. It's nothing like anything else. I think back to when I was young, what was the big thing then that people were doing, and it was never anything like it is right now in North America. It's terrifying.
And everybody's gravitating to that external solution for an internal problem. And when we think about it, now how often do we get a cut, right? And you go, oh my God, I cut my finger. And you just go and you put some little antiseptic on it, you put a Band-Aid on it, and then you forget about it. And 3 days later, miraculously, it's gone, right? But we take that for granted. But that's the real power of the mind healing the body.
Well, yeah, I want to talk about this as well, because I know you're not adverse to actually getting treatment that's needed, but it's also either complementary, is when you're working the mind, or sometimes the mind can be the catalyst for change and for healing just in itself.
Exactly.
Now, talk to me about, some of the people that you have worked with. Tell me about that, in terms of any sort of healing, and were they stuck? And what was the result after working on their mind a little bit?
Well, and I'm glad that you brought this up, because when people come to me, sometimes, that pain comes from an actual injury, okay? So in that respect, we want to help the person kind of go in and be able to, number one, block the pain, just as a painkiller would do, a pain pill, but not only that, but release the pain as well. And it's funny that once I lead a client in, and this my very first pain client, he had chronic back pain. And just by able to allow him to relax, especially in the areas where he had the pain in the beginning, he could start imagining that area was healing, number one. Number two, he was releasing that pain. And number three, he was able to block that pain with his mind as well.
It's so true, because you think, everyone out there, you think of how your body feels when you're even under just stress. So maybe it wasn't an injury. Maybe you didn't pick something up, or you fell, or, did anything like that. It could be just, I have back pain. And you've conceded to the idea of like, that's my identity. I do have back pain.
That's just who I am. Yep.
Yeah. And then a lot of it can stem just even from stress. Neck pain, headaches, a lot, stress related too.
Well, and what happens when you're stressed? You tense, right? Once you tense, and if you continue to tense, well, obviously that's going to start fatiguing your muscles and start putting pressure on various parts in your body as well.
Oh, you just made me take a deep breath and drop my shoulders.
Yes.
I felt myself
Relax.
do that. Just taking on more and more work. I was like, oh, my shoulders are up around my ears.
Well, yeah, your shoulders are coming up. So
ooh,
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Tell me, I know you wanted to discuss history as well. Take me back through, hypnosis and healing and the history and historical factors.
Well, that's the first thing that got me really fascinated about hypnotherapy and using hypnosis for more than just making people do funny things on stage, because that's kind of where I started my hypnotist career. Once I started studying hypnosis, the act of hypnosis, especially for healing, goes all the way back to the Egyptians, where they would lead people that had ailments into what was called sleep temples. And they would put them into
Oh my God, I want a sleep temple.
Yeah.
Someone make a sleep temple.
A sleep temple.
Next time Mark asks, where are we going on vacation? You're not, I am. I'm going to a sleep temple.
And that's all I want to do. Well, they would lead the afflicted person into one of these sleep temples, put them into a hypnotic trance, and then whatever their ailment was, they would give suggestions to their subconscious mind to heal. And the person had no idea what even was going on. It's just that back in those days, I mean, obviously it's like the high priest, so you don't question the high priest, you just do what they say, right? Yeah. As that came on, in the 1800s, James Braid, Anton Mesmer, that was even in the 1700s, he was a French physician, but they started experimenting, and they once again, just looked at the history, and it's like, well, if it worked before, let's experiment with it and see what was going on. They were doing surgeries without anesthesia. Yeah. With phenomenal results. Now, and it's funny, the whole history of hypnosis, because it becomes kind of this, new craze, new wavy type of thing, and then it gets dismissed, and then it goes kind of back into the dark closet, and then it comes out and surfaces later. Well, later on, in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the field physicians would be out there, and they would run out of supplies, and the only way they could actually help do surgeries on the battlefield was to hypnotize the people that were suffering from shots or whatever affliction that they got on the battlefield. And then now, in this day and age, a lot of people still use, if they're afraid of the dentist or they want to do natural childbirth, they use hypnotherapy to have dental operations pain-free or childbirth pain-free. Yeah, that's and you've had 2 kids, so I mean,
I pushed it as long as I could, and I was like, "Give me the needle."
Exactly.
And it's funny because you are aware that when you're in a present state and something crazy happens, if you heard a loud bang or someone said, "Hey, you know what happened?" your brain would shift over and be distracted for a minute, and it's almost like creating that shift for a longer period of time. I mean, when I was giving birth, I remember trying to think about that. Like, well, your brain can get distracted. If someone came in right away and yelled something in the room, I would be distracted from my pain. But it would only be for that
focused on, you'd be focused someplace else. And now with hypnosis, basically you're taking that focus and then letting it extend for the whole duration of what's necessary.
Yeah, see, and I thought about that because when we were there, we put on the fights because I was like, well, maybe that'll distract me enough. But, we're watching TV and the fights, but it didn't. But I was aware that I know you can shift it for a short period of time, but having the ability to do it for a long period of time is pretty fascinating.
And not only shift it, but actually those sensations that your body was going through, imagine this, I mean, the more you push, the more pleasurable it becomes, as opposed to
Said
like
from a man. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
Just kidding.
But that would be an example of a suggestion. Rather than it being painful, it actually is pleasurable, because both of us have the concept and the ability to experience pain and pleasure. So it's just a matter of shifting that focus from one to the other.
It's fascinating that you're going through the history, because I remember in university in my psych classes and stuff talking about the doctors that did the surgeries in the 1800s, and that's where we get the word mesmerized.
Mesmerized,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating. And you identify dental and childbirth, the two probably
Those are
most
probably
painful
the
things
two,
in my
and
life
yes.
ever. You know, I would even think to make things less painful, even just going into almost a state of relaxation before going into those. I think sometimes it's the anxiety of stuff that just
Yes,
makes things
especially,
worse.
I mean, hypnosis for pre-surgery is phenomenal because you can set your mind up to not only be stress-free going into the surgery, but all of a sudden programming your mind to be ready to heal itself that much better.
Yeah, that I mean, it's really fascinating because you think about. I'm sure you know even medical professionals will say, "Hey, you know, if you can get to a state of hypnosis or meditation, and you know, doing those kind of things to relax yourself, would
Hmm.
make everything a lot easier and smoother." And your experience of different things is different when you're in that state of relaxation. Your experience of pain and anything else, and your perception is a little bit different.
Yes. Well, and your whole body changes. I mean, when you're in that fight or flight mode, I mean, your body is reacting differently as opposed to when you're totally relaxed,
Yeah,
right?
oh, for sure. Now, let's talk about, when we come back from the break, the different things that you can do with healing the body with the mind. Because I know there's different aspects from stress to actually, you know, having surgeries and cuts and broken bones. So we'll go from one extreme to the next. Once again, we're talking to Jimmy Graham, our mindset success coach. You can find him online, mindpowerprograms.com. Now, also, you do have a program currently for pain. Tell
Yes.
me about that before we go to
Yes.
break.
That one's called Pain Be Gone. And once again, it's an audio hypnosis program. You simply listen to it at night. With this program, I also suggest to anybody that uses it to listen to it at least 2 or 3 times during the week, but especially if they're feeling a flare-up of pain and allowing themselves to go back into that hypnotic trance state, focusing on that pain and releasing it.
Okay, so you can go on his website, mindpowerprograms.com, and you put in the promo code PAINBEGONE. I know usually you charge people $25 to do it, but it's $1 if you're
Yep,
listening
it's
today.
it's $1 today, and we'll even sweeten the deal. You get it, you use it. Just contact me, give me feedback on your results, and I'll even refund that dollar.
Okay, and so the promo code is PAINBEGONE, and again, go to mindpowerprograms.com. So we'll talk about, you know, things that it can heal when we come back right here on the TKO Show. It's Kara Rowe on the TKO Show, and it's our Mindset Success Series, and joining me, our Mindset Success Coach, Jimmy Graham. You can find him online, mindpowerprograms.com, and it's cool. Every week we talk about something different, and that's what's great is, you know, I go and see your best-selling programs, increase your income, get thin in 30 days, sleep better tonight, and it's really funny, I know, as you mentioned, someone will come to you for one problem, and you kind of get a chance to dig in their brain and see with like a scapula and just like dinosaur digging. No, and you uncover it's really something else. Maybe they have, you know, a smoking issue, but you uncover that it's more of, you know, or it could be a weight issue, and then you uncover that, well, it's the smoking issue that's from the stress issue that it, you know what I mean? You get a chance to kind of it all works
amazing to me
together.
all the time, Kara, that they'll come in for one issue, and after the sessions are finished, that all this other stuff that they would come in and say, well, we'll deal with this later down the line, kind of solves itself too.
Yeah, it's fascinating because I know when Mark first started, I had sent him to one of your events before you and I were even really familiar with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he started doing the increase your income, but because of listening to the hypnosis every night, it helped him sleep better, and then he was more productive at work. It was like cyclical, right?
Yes.
So he was better at work, then he was making more money, and he really enjoyed it. So it's one of those things that you want to stick to it, because like anything, people think of a diet, you know, or an exercise regimen, or telling yourself you're going to read so much a night, or, you know, different things. In a relationship, you're going to tell your spouse, I love you every day. We fall off.
Yes.
And it's really important to stay on the programs, whatever that is for you in life, is kind of stay committed. And sometimes it takes work. It's creating a new habit. But if you can commit to it, as they say, 21 days to create a new habit, if you can just commit to it, even for that 21 days, chances are it'll be something that becomes a part of your life. And this is a great topic today, talking about mind-body healing, using your mind to heal your body. So give me some of the uses. And again, you can go to mindpowerprograms.com. It's a Pain Be Gone program. So for those of you that are suffering or struggling, the promo code is Pain Be Gone, and you can go on there right now and check it out. So tell me about this program and what it can help.
Well, the greatest thing about hypnosis is that once you go into hypnosis, and basically it's a very relaxed state of consciousness, okay? So by relaxing...
Every time you say the word relax, my body drops. It's so funny.
It's working.
Are you hypnotizing me right now?
Well, if I had $100 for every time everybody has ever asked me that.
Right, yeah.
But when you're relaxing, you're releasing stress. And stress it causes I like to call it dis-ease. Okay, so if you're relaxing, you're releasing that stress, you're letting the body heal even when you're awake, right? And stress is the biggest cause of so many diseases and so many maladies that we deal with. So that's number one. Now, when you release stress, you're more relaxed, you tend to sleep better. And how does our body heal? When we're sleeping.
Yes.
Right? So if you're not getting a good night's sleep, your body is not getting the chance to re-heal in the way that it's naturally supposed to do. The cool thing about the Pain Be Gone program is that it's kind of similar to taking pain pills. And what I mean by that is that when you're taking a pain pill, it's blocking the pain receptors wherever that pain happens to be. Now you can do that with your mind as well. It's just a matter of just focusing on where that pain is and just shifting your focus and saying, listen, that pain is gone. Right?
I love that, yeah.
And it's amazing. This is the thing that a lot of people just take for granted, is that how powerful our minds are to be able to do that. I mean, I remember breaking my collarbone in hockey, and then
You're
I'm
so
flat.
Canadian.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone has a hockey injury.
Yeah, and people were going, "Oh, do we have to stop the game?" I said, "Just play around me." Right.
Yeah, right.
But at that time, once the pain started setting in, I had to use my mind just to block that off and focus on other things. And then it wasn't that bad. The pain decreased. And releasing pain with this program as well. It's almost similar to like when you do yoga and your yoga instructor says, now just breathe into wherever you may feel pain and just exhale and release it. Mm-hmm. It's the same idea. It's amazing how we can do that with our minds as well.
Yeah, keep going. I'll let you go through all of these,
Yeah, we've got a few more points. Now
time.
this is where it gets really interesting. Some people get phantom pains, and then it's like through their whole entire life they were fine, and then at the age of 43, for some reason they've got this stabbing pain just above their knee, and it's just excruciating. They don't know where it came from, but it's just constant, leading them back through hypnosis experience of going into a past life.
Come on.
May reveal that in a past life, for whatever reason, they had their leg chopped off or blown off in a past life. At the age of 43. By allowing them just to release that experience, and then the pain is gone. That's when it gets really interesting.
Fascinating.
Yes, yeah, that's when it gets really interesting. So that's a lot of fun to do. Once again, your body regenerates, right? So healing body parts, just as we mentioned before, when you get a cut, you don't think about it. You put a Band-Aid on it, 3 days later, it mysteriously is gone. The same thing, once you're conscious, you can actually help yourself heal that much faster and that much better as well. So if you're going into, it's the same way like just healing my collarbone, same thing. I mean, I healed very, very fast just by concentrating on it, visualizing it coming back together and healing even stronger than it was before.
I love it. This stuff is fascinating. We're talking about mind-body healing with Jimmy Graham, our mindset success coach. You can find him online, a variety of different programs, including that one, Pain Be Gone. So that's the promo code. Just go to mindpowerprograms.com and plug in Pain Be Gone. And once again, you can find that online. There's a variety of different programs, income, losing weight, sleeping better. So really fascinating. I appreciate your time today, Jimmy.
Oh, I love it, Kara.
It's Kara Rowe on the TKO Show. Awesome.